Steve from Custom Table Tennis. We're just going to have a look at the ever popular Rosewood blade. Somebody wanted to know the dimensions and the weights and all the rest of it. I've no need to measure, but that is 150 that way by 157 that way, so it fits in with industry standard. Now, thing to note about these, because we've got the rosewood, we've got the carbon layers in there, and then we've also got a Paduke handle, so it makes for a slightly heavier bat than usual. We've got that at the bottom on it, every single one. So it's 90 plus or minus 3. I think we've had one or two that are been a bit lighter, but usually they're around about the 90. Well, you couldn't get any nearer to 90. That on normal scales, that would probably round up. That's the flared version. I'm going to show you the handles in more detail. This was the Anatomic. I'll come back to that in a moment. Again, 88, so we're within with the specification. And then finally, we've got the straight, and again, within the specification, 90 plus or minus 3. Worst case scenario, to be fair, we've not seen many at 93. Usually hovering around 91, just under, like these. Scales, don't need those anymore, they can go out the way. So which handle should you choose? It's often which one should I get, which is going to be the best for me. Out of 100 blades sold, we would probably say 85 to 90 are going to be the flared, and it's usually because before you get to a premium product like this, the first bat that you bought is probably flared, and you probably stick with the flared. But what you probably want to know is the dimensions then. So let's have a look at the dimensions. Zero that. So let's have a look that way. So that way we've got 26, and then this way we've got 33, and then that way we've got 25.46. It's not like an old Stiga Legend where it's more in line with everything else, every other brand. As I've said before, these are made in the factory that makes all the top German premium brands anyway. So this is about standard for your flared. So she flared. We'll do the Anatomic next, and somebody was asking the other day, so what is the Anatomic? Well, the Anatomic, if we can look at that, it's got a little bump there, and then it goes in slightly. I mean, you're talking subtle. I mean, if you want a straight and we haven't got a straight, you could play with the Anatomic, because the difference is very, and the theory is it goes in the hollow of your hand and it sits better. Before I moved on to straight, I had Anatomic for years, absolutely years, because to me, you can have a nice loose grip and it absolutely fits fine. A lot of our lady customers, when we do trade stands, they went, oh, I didn't know that existed, and they've put it in the hand and go, oh, I want one of them, because it does fit nice. But having said that, only 15% of players will use an Anatomic or a straight. But let's get on with the measurements. So we've got on there, I'll zero it just to, oh, it's bang on zero, look. So on there, look, we've got, before it starts, we've got 28 there, and then on the bump, it's going to be margins. Well, you can hardly notice, can you? So actually there's not much of a dip in there. So at the bump we've got 28.62, and then at the narrowest point it's margins. It's going to be about the fit and finish for you. And then there we've got 24, and then finally, we'll leave it down here, finally on the straight then. And I must admit, when they sent us samples and I play with the straight, I thought, yeah, that's going to suit most people. It's not too thick, not too thin. The length is right. Most bats, if you didn't know, they're about 100 mil or 4 inches from there down to there. Doesn't matter, because people say, oh, have we got one with a long handle? Well, apart from the wood nut that we make with a long handle, it's industry standard. And then you've got to look at where your shoulders come down, and this is just absolutely fine. So this one then, yeah, zero again almost. So we're looking at, we only have to do one measurement, 28.63, and that way we've got 23.63. So nice blades. And then they were asking, it's a little bit of a difficult one for us when somebody, what rubbers should I choose? We're not going to lead you towards the dearest bat we can sell you. We're going to ask you about what your ability is. So if you're just starting out, then remember the blade is the heart of the bat. It's going to determine what level you're at. But probably better to get a better blade and then the rubber that's not going to cost you too much. So even if you're sort of just intermediate, you can get away with these sorts of rubbers. So we've got the Gambler 7s. Remember, I don't know how to describe it. If you're going to buy a car, you don't buy it on the strength of the tyres. It's got Pirelli P60s, but the engine's done in. You're not going to buy the car on the rubbers. So blade is the most important. So then you've got the 0. So we're just going up in speed slightly. And then you get to a tuned, which is Volt M. You can see this comes very good. Very, very good rubber at this price point. Then we've got the really popular hybrid. This has been selling really, really well. We have done a separate video about this. It comes, as you can see, it's tuned, it's got a bit of a bend in it, and then under there we've got glue under there already, and then you've got some kind of hybrid effect with a tacky surface. So that's kind of your lower end starting point, and then we get on to the German stuff. First point would be the Musa, which actually this is the first starting point with your German rubber, but it doesn't have any tensor effect. So what that means is it's a high quality product. It's got the physio, elasto, engineered spin, BIOS. It's got all the technology going on. It's got everything going on with it, but it doesn't have the tensor effect. So think of that as if you were thinking yesteryear, you'd be thinking Shriver or Mark V, but made in Germany. Very, very durable. I mean, I see people who've had this on for 2 or 3 years and it's not totally gone. So very good place to start with the German. Moving on then, if you wanted to keep the bat, the weight down, this is going to be your lightest rubber. The Europe DF, I think it's about number 3 on our best-selling list of all time when we've done our best top 5. Plastic ball ready, nice and light. It's got all your technology going on there, and it's going to reduce the weight of your bat. This is about 57 to 60 grams uncut, so you can reduce the weight. Now another one sold on the basis that it's going to keep the weight down. You're moving up price points, by the way. I'm not going to run through all the price points. You can have a look at that. Moving up to this one, this is really popular, and some of our sponsored county players have got this one. It's a step up from here because you're going from the Vega to the Omega, and we recommend it in the Europe if you want to keep the weight down. You can have a look at the back of there. It's got all your technology, high-end product, sell lots and lots of that, so we always keep good quantities in. Nice and spinny and controlled, really good feel. A lot of play against, lots of players in Leeds against this, and the better players, it's a nightmare when they're getting the top spins on with that particular rubber. So moving on, last but not least then, and it's still just our number 1 best-selling rubber, but make no mistake about this one. If you choose your Jekyll and Hyde on this blade, you're going to be around about the 190 plus or minus. But then that's akin to, I don't know, your Timo Boll and your Tenergy. So it's nothing extraordinary about the weight, except you are pushing the weight up a little bit. Jekyll and Hyde in the 47.5, there's a 52.5, which again is going to push the weight up. We would probably, if you're not sure, we would recommend the 47.5. At least you're going to knock some grams off. I've got a handful of players on the 52.5, county sponsored players like Tim Dyson and a few others, but this is probably the place to go. This is our number 1 best selling rubber by, well, Vega Career is catching up. We think because it's in the blue, but it's a really good rubber. But at the moment, this is our best-selling rubber. So, little short video. Wasn't sure which one to choose. Where are you going to be? If you're just starting out and you like the look of the Rosewood with the nice Purdue candle that fits in and the carbon layers, rather than spend money, don't buy a cheap blade and put really expensive rubbers on. I mean, our all-round is absolutely fine. Our all-round, we know it's good. We know where it's made. We know what the German equivalents are. But don't spend too much money on rubber and then put it on a really nasty blade. I've had people send me blades and we've had to ring them back and say, you know, I'm sorry, it's an old Dunlop and it's not really conducive to, you know, something that weighs 100 grams. You're not going to get the best out of the rubber. So even if you buy this, make sure you get it on one of our blades, which it's a high-end blade, and you're only paying about, if you start off, you're paying about 20 quid extra on the blade. If you buy the whole setup on this, you're probably getting the blade for 40 instead of 60. Little short video to avoid any confusion about choosing your bat. It's Steve from Custom Table Tennis. Hit the like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye for now.